What's up guys, this is Kephas and we are back leveling in World of Warcraft, and as you can tell we are in the middle of the Midsummer Fire Festival, so we might as well just get some free XP here. There's a decent amount of XP actually for doing those. So yeah, I mean, if you are leveling up right now and you have a character that can fly, it is certainly beneficial to collect those if you just feel like getting some easy experience without actually having to play the game. It can get a little tedious flying all over the world, but it's easy XP, so you can always do that. But for this series, we're not going to do that because that wouldn't be very fun to watch, would it? We're just going to continue questing, and I've moved up to a new area up here. Camp whatever it's called, Winterhoof, I think? I forget. It's these freaky looking Tauren dudes, and they are freaky looking. I remember back in the day, like, seeing them for the first time thinking, oh, it's a Tauren, and looking at its face like, oh my god, that's not a Tauren. What the frick is that thing? It's not a Tauren. That's what it isn't. So I actually forget what they're called. I don't even know. They're called something weird. And yeah, we recruited them for the Horde, and because I guess they're like Tauren cousins or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to work with them now, collect ram horns and bird feathers and kill elementals because elementals are jerks. And yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So the goal for this video is to at least try to hit level 71 because I want to test out time walking on a low level character, and I figured this would be the character to test that out on. Unfortunately, you have to be level 71 to do it. So I'm level 70, so I'm very close. I'm technically Burning Crusade heroic level, but in order for it to be time walking, I have to be level 71, which is just above the heroic level appropriate area. So that's the goal, and then I'll probably make another video for time walking to test that out. I could easily test that out on a max level character, but we kind of know what that's like. You get, 660 gear for a pretty easy run through a dungeon. Hello, elemental, you need to die, I guess. So, that's pretty good, but I want to see how good it is for low level. Like, I mean, because from level 71 on, you can do it, and what does that mean? And I haven't looked this up. I imagine it's the way it is, but, I mean, basically, time walking lets you queue up with anybody that's level 71 and higher. So, that means that I could technically queue up with people who are level 100. And we all scale down to 70 and our gear scales down and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's really interesting because that increases the amount of people that are queuing up, which increases the pool of players, which in theory should increase how fast the queue time is. So I think that's really interesting. I also think that if that's the case, and if the XP is good, I mean, why the heck not make that a normal part of the game, Sorry, I had a little bit of a glitch. Anyways, yeah, if the queuing is good, if the XP is good, I think that hopefully, and maybe that's what they're working on, I'd rather see time walking become less of an event and more of a regular feature in the game. Final Fantasy XIV, it's a regular feature, and it's really cool. Like, you can do all, like, you can just queue up with anybody. If you're a high level, you can queue up with your low level friends. You can queue up for random low level dungeons and scale down and get high level appropriate gear, which is or whatever rewards, and it's pretty cool. It also makes queuing up for dungeons very, very fast. So, with that, it's something to consider for them if it works out. If people are doing it and they like it, I don't see why not. As long as people are leveling in this game, I'm sure that time walking will be used. So, and as long as people are hitting level 100 with alts and it's a good catch-up mechanic, I think it's a great way to reuse old content in a way that's effective and not in a way that's, forced down your throat or whatever. So it's something I hope they look into, certainly. I'm a huge fan of the weekend events. I think they're going to bring a lot to the game to get people to log in, on a maybe not a regular basis, but certainly, they can look and see that, hey, during this time there's a cool event happening in WoW and I can log in and check that out. I think that is a cool idea. Some people aren't fans of it, but I don't know why. It's weird, but I think it's cool. It doesn't really take away anything from the game, so it certainly adds to it. So I don't know. I've enjoyed the time walking dungeons so far. Next weekend will be a Pexis Crystal weekend, which means that very cryptically, you can get more Apexis crystals from, I guess, monster drops. I don't know if that includes the quests themselves, if it includes the missions or whatever. I don't know, but I do know that that is the weekend that I'm going to try to get the Saber Stalker rep up, killing the kitties, because it increases the amount of Apexis I get from drops. That'd be the weekend to do it. So get a group next weekend, go kill a bunch of sabers, get your rep up, and also get tons of Apexis crystals. I like that idea a lot, actually. So we will see if that works out. Now, what I'm going to do is get the rest of these feathers and continue on. Alright, we got that feather, and I also went over and took a leak on the Alliance Fire. So that got us some more XP as well. Man, that took a minute. I've always had a hard time doing that stupid feather collecting quest. I have a hard time seeing those feathers. Luckily, the little yellow outline kind of helped out some, but still, holy cow, man. Alright, speaking of cows, these things, Yam Gulls, no, those are the ones in Pandaria. I can't remember these guys' name. The Tuskar? Is that they're called? Taunka. The Taunka trucks. That's who these guys are. That's right. It's all coming back to me now. It's been a minute. I've had things happen since then. Lots of things. I don't know what that guy wants, but I'm not worry about it later. Okay, one more quest to turn in. Kind of doing my little circle around this place. So yeah, I'm really anxious to see what time walking dungeons are like. And ooh, we got some rep up. Cool. We also got, was that a trinket? I don't think I wanted to equip that. Was it a trinket? No, it was a finger. Okay, that's fine. Hopefully I'll get the ring soon for XP, because you can get a new heirloom ring from your garrison shipyard. So that'll be kind of fun. We'll check that out if I get it. And yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, my enthusiasm has certainly gone up for 6.2. I've been having a lot of fun doing the dailies out in Tinan Jungle, either with friends, sometimes by myself. Every night since the patch started, I've gone out there and had an adventure with somebody. One of my friends, or just some random dude. We're just doing all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, if I'm spending hours in WoW just goofing off with people, and it's out in the new content, then I call that a rousing success. And then for me, it is certainly a rousing success, for sure. My initial thoughts on it were a little quick to the gun. I was a little harsh on it at first, because I was thinking of Apexis dailies in terms of, you know, what we had already had, and they have certainly changed out there. I mean, essentially they are kind of the same, but the rewards are better, specifically if you're trying to gear up. And yeah, I mean, you know, so they've given me a new kind of experience, and I appreciate them for that. So I recommend that if you haven't checked them out yet, because you're kind of reserved on the whole Apexis thing, that you know, go out there and see what happens. See if you like it. Don't judge it before you get used to, like any new zone, you have to learn your way around. You have to learn how to be efficient, and once you do, it really starts to ramp up. At least it did in my opinion. So I strongly recommend that you give Apexis dailies, a chance. Give the patch a chance. There's a lot of negativity going on, and sometimes you just gotta give stuff a chance. All right, let's go down here to Scorn, or whatever it's called. Those are some fun quests. There is certainly a lot of negativity floating around right now in the community, and that's something that I want to try to avoid if I can. I mean, I've seen people it's like they look for people to be negative. And if you're not negative, then if you're not negative enough, you get kind of criticized. I mean, I saw this interview by someone that I actually personally know. Scott Johnson did an interview with Corey Stockton, and if you know anything about Scott Johnson, you know that he's a very nice guy. He's very, he's not the kind of guy that's going to confront anybody. He's not the kind of guy that's going to, play hardball, I guess is the word that people are using. He's very friendly. He's very friendly to people. He's just going to ask, fun questions. That's how he is. That's how he would be with anybody. And I thought it was a very good interview with Corey Stockton on just a lot of aspects of the game, a lot of the decisions that they made. It was a very fun little interview to listen to. Had some pretty good information in it. But because it wasn't Scott, criticizing them and asking them really hard questions like, well, why'd you screw up the game? Garrison sucked. Because he didn't go in with that attitude, people were very critical to him. And it just kind of, you know, once again, it kind of shows me that there are just a lot of people that are, hey, got an item, sweet. That is a quest objective, I think. Oh, this is the quest where I gotta mutilate the bodies. You... Gross. It might be more convenient for me to put that, because I have so many quest items right now. What the heck, dude? Where did I get all these? I think this is, there it is. Alright. Yeah, so, I mean, and that's the thing is, there are a lot of people that are just negative right now, which is weird, because, you know, this is what some people will say. Well, I care about the game, that's why I'm negative. Or you know, because, you know, there are two groups of people. There are people that are way too positive, and then there are people that are way too negative. And so what that means is, you know, there are people that are like white knights, kind of, where, like, no matter what, you can't criticize the game ever, right? Like, you can never say anything bad about the game. And I know I've kind of talked about this a little bit before, but anytime you say anything bad about the game, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how valid it might be, doesn't matter how valid your concern kind of might be, they're going to jump on you, and they're going to say, how dare you criticize World of Warcraft, the game's good, and Blizzard's amazing, and blah blah blah, you know, and you kind of get that. And then there's the other side that anytime you say anything good about the game, they get all huffy puffy because, oh, you actually like that, you know, the game sucks, and yet they're still, you know, playing it. And they'll always say something to the effect of, well, I've been playing it for so long, I care about it, and that's why I'm still here. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. At the same time, when something gets to the point where I can't, if you're at the point where there's just no positive, I mean, you're at the point of no return. It's like, okay, maybe it's time to consider at least, you know, moving on. By the way, this is how I do this quest. You can just kind of jump up on this roof. These dorks won't shoot at you. I mean, they might a little bit, but I used to die doing this quest because, holy crap, it was a little bit insane. But, yeah, I mean, so, you know, I don't want to become a negative person and have a negative channel. When I did the feedback videos, my attitude going into that was, I want to try, I'm not setting out to be negative. If I have a negative opinion, I want to share it because that's my opinion. But it's not just, I'm just going to go be negative. It's, let's go and, you know, just give an honest reaction to what I think of the content. And, you know, obviously my opinions are subject to change. And they are just my opinions. Why is aggro stuck on my screen? I'm not even in combat. It's kind of weird. Oh well. But there are some people, like I've said before, that their entire YouTube career is based off of negativity. And I don't want that. I don't want to build an audience around that. I don't, you know, when I made the video where I criticized the game, I kind of just shared what I think the game is now, and the good and the bad, and I mostly got praise for having a balanced viewpoint, which is what I try to do. I try to be somewhere in the middle, almost in every issue and everything. And so that's usually just me. I'm usually somewhere in the middle. I kind of see both sides in most things, and that's kind of what I want to be here. I want to be kind of a voice of reason, as opposed to a, oh, positive, negative, whatever. You know, I don't want to be a Blizzard champion, and I don't want to be the champion for the negativity. If you're here and you're just looking for videos that are going to bash WoW, you might as well consider leaving. And people say, oh, you shouldn't say that because it's counterintuitive. No, it's not. I'm very specific about the kind of audience that I want on my channel, and it is not the same kind of audience that are what I'm seeing in other channels. Which is, you know, people just looking for videos that talk about how much the game sucks. Because here's the thing, all that's happening for a lot of people is there's this negativity circle jerk going on, where it's just people, negativity, you can feed off of it. Negativity, and you can feed off negativity. And that's just kind of a thing that's very normal. And it you know, it empowers people in a weird way. It's like it kind of vindicates how people feel, you know. And so, yeah, that's exactly how I feel, and that's not always a good thing, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is, just because more people think like you, just because, you know, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean that everything is true, or that, you know, that this is how every single person feels. You know, so on one hand, yeah, there are certainly reasons for people to have negative opinions, and that's all fine and good, but at the same time, when your entire career, for lack of a better term, is based off of negativity, I mean, is that really what you want? It's not what I want. And so if this does become a career for me, if YouTube becomes my career, excuse me, then I don't want it to be based off of me being negative. I want it to be based off of me entertaining people, right, and having fun. So that's kind of my attitude right now, is that, you know, honest opinions, being honest, being sincere, being real, that's all part of how I want to be. But at the same time, I guess these aren't the buildings that you're supposed to burn. Also, why is aggro stuck on my screen? Go away. At the same time, I don't want to just be negative. So, you know, you're going to see me being as genuine as I can be, and just don't look for negativity just for the sake of it being negativity. It's kind of like it's again, there's a certain expectation that people have for WoW videos, and for, you know, certain things, you know, like that interview, because he wasn't hardball enough, I guess, because he was being just light, you know, in his attitude. People were accusing him of kissing up, you know, of getting, you know, easy promotion or whatever it was as a publicity stunt. It's like, dude, no, he's just asking questions like anybody else would, and they just don't happen to be the questions that you want. Because what a lot of people want, because people are so vexed right now and jaded, people just want to see somebody get in an interview and crucify whatever Blizzard dev they can. That's what a lot of people want. And that's, you know, that's not what you're going to get very often, because number one, if that's what an interviewer did, no one would ever want to be interviewed. Ask Peter Molyneux, who's not going to do interviews anymore, and he shouldn't, because no one deserves to be publicly humiliated just because they fail at something. I mean, yeah, his games are ridiculous, and, you know, being called out through feedback is one thing, but to be interviewed and slandered and criticized to such a degree, without being given any sense of dignity and respect is not acceptable. There's a sense of professionalism that you can have while doing things, and you know, so that's the thing, is that I'm all for asking the hard questions, but you know, sometimes some people that's just not their bag. It's just not what they, you know, care about as much. So yeah, I think that you know, being negative for the sake of being negative and having a negative attitude is definitely something. Ding! 71. But we're going to keep going, because why not? We're going to go turn this quest in. You know, and so that's what it comes down to. You know, it's not easy sometimes. Sometimes you can be overly negative, sometimes you can be overly positive, but I think that right now is a very hard time for any content creator in this game, because there is a very large amount of, at least the internet community, you know, the type of players, the type of people that actually look up YouTube videos and look up interviews, it seems like a large number of those people are very, very vexed right now, and as a result, it's really hard for anybody who is trying to produce, you know, fun, entertaining content, because, you know, it's very shaky. There are some people that, it's weird, they look up videos, they look up all this WoW stuff, and anything that is remotely positive, they just, you know, demean and berate to a large extent, and it's very weird that people do that. You know, it's like when people watch my Sims 4 video sucks and then get mad because I talk about how much Sims 4 sucks, and I'm like, why did you watch the video? You know, it kind of goes both ways. You know, if you wanna like, if you're not interested in something because you just don't like it anymore, it's very weird to go around and watch a bunch of videos about that thing. So I don't know, you know, it's very weird right now. Warcraft community is very weird right now, and I think that, you know, I think that 6.2 is going to get a lot less credit than it deserves, and yeah, I am saying that, and I do mean it, because I think there are a lot of people that are just so vexed and so angry and so burned by what WoD originally was, including myself at first, that they're not even going to give it a chance. But they're also not going to go away, which is kind of weird. So, I don't know. I seriously think that, you know, you just see what it's like and see if you like it, and if you don't, then you don't like it. But it's not as horribly designed as some people would have you think at all. It's really not. It is what it is. If you don't like it, that's fine, but that doesn't make it horribly designed. There are definitely things that I think they could do better. So, okay, here's what WoD is to me. Are you ready? I'm gonna give you the rundown of what WoD is to me. In my town, we have a baseball diamond. It's the biggest baseball diamond we have. It's actually the only baseball park we actually have. It's not even a diamond. It's a collection of diamonds. It's a baseball park. It's called Rice Field. And everybody goes there. It's where all the games are every year. It's where everybody, schools, you know, softball tournaments, you know, leagues, minor leagues, everything that we do baseball, softball wise is done there. And so you go there and it's like, hey, baseball, sweet, and you know, you might go to the concessions, get like a hot dog or something, nachos, I don't know. And there's one problem with it. It happens to be located right next to a sewer plant. So you'll be there and everything's fine and good, but every now and then you get this whiff of sewer and it's like, ugh, that stinks. That's kind of what it's like in Warlords. There's some good there, you know, it's Warcraft, and that in itself makes it kind of cool, but there's some things in it that just really stink. And so you'll be having a good time until all of a sudden, you know, like you go to get a hot dog and suddenly you smell sewage and you just completely, you lose your appetite. That's kind of what it's like. You're having a good time until something stupid happens, or you realize some stupid thing about a mechanic, or something dumb about their decision, and it just ruins everything. That's kind of what it's like, and I get that. You know, like Mythic Dungeons having such low gear item level, it's completely ruined my appetite for doing Mythic Dungeons and dungeons in general. Even though the dungeons are designed well, although Mythic is just, you know, boring scaled up versions of what dungeons were originally, and that's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it just, the whole incentive for dungeons just kind of ruined everybody's appetite. You know, garrisons aren't so bad, except when they're all you have to do, then suddenly they suck. And they're just terrible. So, yeah, I think that there were good ideas and just really, really bad design decisions, and that's kind of what happened. And so, even though there are good things overall, because of how they were implemented, it's like, oh, this kind of stinks. And I totally get that. I think that's how I would describe it, and that's kind of why it's going to go down probably as the worst expansion that this game's ever had. But you know, in 6.2, I think one of the biggest things that they messed up on is the lack of story out in Tinan Jungle. The fact that there's really no context for anything going on out there. The fact that we came in on such a light, you know, without any like real excitement, or like, holy crap, watch, we're coming in on this ship and it's really cool, or, you know, check us out, you know, all this. There's nothing. There's just, you just kind of get there and you're like, oh, there are these people. Also, why am I earning faction rep with freaking people I'm already should be high faction rep with, like Vol'jin's people? We're part of the Horde. Why am I earning faction rep with them? That's kind of weird. You know, why am I earning faction rep with bird people again when I clearly already did that? Because they're a faction within the faction? That's kind of stupid, but whatever. You know, so there's a lot of context there that's kind of missing, and that kind of, you know, like with the dailies, like why are there Draenei? What are the Draenei doing there? You know, what is Kilrog's clan doing out there? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? Like, why are we trying to stop them? You know, the only real context we have is what's going on at the Iron Harbor, which is where I guess the recruitments are coming in, where they're bringing in people from the Iron Horde, you know, from Black Hand's remnants, I guess, to turn them into Fel Orcs. That's really the only context we really have. You know, so with that, it's kind of like, well, okay, I get that. Okay, gotta kill the Runestone Giants. This quest used to suck. It might still, I don't know. Used to be like an elite quest. I don't know if it still is, or if they nerfed it, or what. But they're also really hard to find, so we may skip this quest. I used to always skip this quest. You know, so I think that there's definitely some story bits that have been they kind of missed out on. In terms of the story overall, I think it's really good. I think that the story's fine. I enjoyed the cinematics and what's going on, and the new characters, and the reintroduction of some heroes, and making them relevant, and people that you can cheer for and get behind. And Gul'dan's a great villain and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely think that one of the biggest mistakes they made was putting the story behind the legendary quest line. You know, that's a mistake, because a lot of people aren't going to see that. And just because you don't do the legendary quest line doesn't mean that you don't care about the story. So that was, you know, that really disconnected a lot of people from what's going on. And that's really unfortunate that it's that way. You know, so, you know, something that I think they can, you know, just a little mistake that they made there, you know what I mean? Definitely hope they don't do garrisons again. Oh my god. Just because of what they ended up doing. But I don't think that that's what they thought they would do. I just think that's kind of what happened, you know. So, yeah, I think that, you know, in terms of our community, in terms of what we're trying to do, I think that it's beneficial for us to try to get a little bit more constructive. And if we're not constructive, then it's a good idea to move on to something else. And I think that's what it comes down to is, you know, if you're just being negative and you're just hating the game, well, it's time to move on. If you're angry with how things are, but you want to be constructive and you're still kind of like, well, I still want to play, but I'm not happy with how things are, I hope they can change it. Well, that's different. That's understandable. So, you know, there are always going to be people that are just angry. And also, this quest sucks because I haven't seen one single rune giant. There's one, but you know what? That's one, and I don't even care. So we're going to skip that quest and go to these other ones. So yeah, I think that it's something that that we need to look at. You know what I mean? I think that people need to calm down for one. Anyways, people always need to calm down. Like, seriously. Sometimes I need to calm down, you know? So, like after I did that mythic dungeon, I was kind of ticked. But, you know, whatever. It happens. But I still have fun. I mean, you know, like I said, when I log in, you know, when I wake up in the morning, I'm actually kind of like thinking about, I want to log in and do my dailies, you know, and that's kind of cool. So I think that if the game is doing that for me, then that's kind of what I want, and that's something that I can get behind. So that's where I stand now, you know, for sure. I definitely feel a lot better about things, and that's good for me. If you don't, that's fine. You're not wrong. I always say that. You're not wrong if you don't. What am I doing? Do I gotta use this thing? See. Attempt to bring a chill nymph back to her senses. Oh yeah. That's this place. Is that a chill nymph? Yes. Here. Get to your senses, chill nymph. Oh, another one. Nymphs are kind of pretty. I think they should be erased in the game. I don't know why. I just think it'd be kind of cool. They're like centaurs, but cool, I guess. I don't know if they ever will, though. I don't know if they'll ever put four-legged creatures and make them playable races. I know that in the past they said they wouldn't, but they've done a lot of things they said they'd never do. So you don't really go off of that. You never know what they're going to do. You never know. We might be playing as Naga next expansion for all we know. Who knows? That'd be kind of weird, but you never know. So yeah. But yeah, nymphs are kind of neat. The Taunka, on the other hand, are still freaky to look at. Sorry, but holy crap. They're just like terrifying. I don't know what the heck they were even thinking with them. Alright, that was easy. Okay, gotta kill... Are we still killing flowers? Yeah, we gotta kill these little flower people. Come here, flower people. One more. And we can get... Oh! I didn't mean to do that, but I guess we can kill a nymph. Or 3. Or 4. That's alright. We can use the XP. And yeah, so... Other news, I have actually switched from playing my Paladin to playing my Death Knight, and my Death Knight is not going to become my main. Kephas will always be my main, but my Death Knight is going to become my new raiding character. So that's kind of interesting. We'll see how that works out. Death Knights are hitting pretty hard. Kephas is not hitting so hard. So I thought it'd be a good idea to, you know, maybe switch it up. Try to bring somebody else in and see what happens. So that's the plan. We'll see how it works out for me. And yeah, we are now level 71. We have done some questing, and in the next video I will make another 6.2 run through, and we will do a low level time walking dungeon to see what happens. And I will try to get that done before the end of the day, but that will go up sometime after this one, just because I like to spread things out a little bit. So keep tuned, stay tuned. and stay up to date on everything that I am doing, and we will continue leveling in the future here in Howling Fjord. This has been Kephas. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Until next time.